human resource, training and development, or a bigger office space?
I am focused. I am a go-getter. I'm self-driven. I'm bold, that is, I'm courageous. And I'm very social. Should a trade-off be required between developing your human capital and acquiring a big office? I would advise the organization that the best thing is to develop your skills, knowledge, and abilities of your employees, which will translate into business. And eventually, it's going to translate to acquiring a big office.
You don't build a business, you build people, then people build your business. Well, today on The Executive, I host Sarah Kithaka, founder, Peak Value Solutions Limited, who's going to help us shed light on the importance of growing human capital as a long-term investment for the future of the organization. So thank you very much, Sarah. So it is intriguing that your undergraduate degree is actually in education, but now you're in the human resource field. What I'm keen to find about is, at what point did you decide to make the change?
Yes, I did the Bachelor's of Education in my undergraduate, and I would like to say that education is one of the disciplines that gives you broader skills, which will make you be in a position to fit in many fields within the organizations. And one of the most important things about it is education equips you with people's skills, which are very crucial for human resource management. Yeah.
So at what point did you decide to make that change to human resource?
Okay, basically I would say that having done education doesn't define me that I have to be a teacher. It's like a stepping stone, so you can be whoever you want to be. Yeah.
And not many people make career changes, and I believe it must have been a great adjustment, not only for you, but also for the people around you. So how were you able to manage the transition?
That's a very interesting question. I would like to say that my mother is a teacher. I have a sister who is a teacher. My brother as well is a teacher. And having done Bachelor's of Education Arts, naturally I tend to be inclined towards training. Yes.
And though you switched to human resource management, you're still very much inclined to the training aspect. Was this influenced by your roots as a teacher, or was it influenced by the need that is required in the marketplace?
I would say it's both. My influence from my parent, my mom especially, and also having taken Bachelor's of Education Arts, and as well as the market need. Having worked in a corporate for many years, I would say it's equivalent to around 11 years. Through interaction and my experience, I've come to realize that it is a dire need to train and develop people. Yeah.
Well, today we are going to explore what is considered to be the most important asset in any organization, and that's people. And there are various terms that you're going to be using throughout the discussion, and I would like that we, together with our viewers, all are in the same page. So maybe we can start with human resource or human capital.
Okay. When you talk of the human capital or the resource, basically it's like an economic measure of the value of people to the organization. We are talking of the skills, the knowledge, and the abilities of people. What value are they giving to the organization, and what is the cost effect of having that?
What about human resource management?
Those are just formal systems that are put in place to manage the human resource. Now the people within the organization. So we talk of things like having policies, procedures, and practices to ensure that the people are well managed. And it bridges the relationship between the organization and the people. Yeah.
What about the human resource development?
Now the human resource development, I would say it's like a framework that is put in place to ensure that the people gain both personal and organization skills, knowledge, and abilities. You will be surprised to know that most of the people, when they are looking for employment, that is one key thing that they consider before they can choose an employer. Because I'm thinking of what is in for me as an employer.
Exactly.
How do I grow in my career? It's not just about the money, but what is in for me. Yes.
What about, lastly, human resource training?
The training is like the improving the current or the future resources within the organization. We are talking of involving people in learning activities, and this is going to change their attitudes as well as ensure that they have the quality skills, knowledge, and abilities, which I keep on repeating because it's what we need as organizations to grow our business.
Well, for growth and development plans to be there, then the gaps within the human resource skill set must be identified through what is termed as the training need analysis. So for the sake of our viewers, would you kindly break down what the training need analysis is?
When you talk of training needs analysis, we are talking of identifying the gap that exists between the employee training and the needs for training. Let me just clarify that what I mean. For example, you're in a hotel industry, and you have employees who are rude to their customers. Basically, you see they have a need to train on mindset and the attitude bit of it. When you do the training needs analysis, it is easy to identify the training goals and also what competency do you want to develop in the employees.
So what are the various forms of training need analysis that can be conducted?
You can conduct training needs analysis you'll begin with the personal. When you talk of the personal needs analysis, we are talking of the people, the person, the employee himself. What skills do they need to perform their job? You can do such a personal analysis through interview. You can sit with the employees. You can do direct observation. We also have organization needs analysis, and basically you are looking at what does the organization need to perform. Okay, the skills, the pool of the people they need to perform the duties that the organization has. And then you also have the cost and benefit analysis. You do this to determine what's the cost of the training and how does the organization benefit after doing this training to the employees. We also have performance-based analysis. Here is basically the organization is going to set the standards, and they'll be looking at, are the employees performing as per the set standards? Are they below or above? If they are below, definitely there's need for a training. Yes.
So because of the need of the training, what are the basic training need techniques that companies can employ?
They can use some of the techniques that can be used. We have interviews where you have one-on-one interview with the employee. We also talk of direct observation. There are some behaviors that you can observe that can actually tell you there's a problem that you need to address. Then you can have feedback survey, whereby you send it out to the employees and ensure that they are confidential, because most of the employees, they don't want to say what they are suffering from or the problems, the challenges that they face. And they will be very much willing to give you the data that you can use to do the training.
Well, to be able to bring things into perspective, what are the pitfalls of not going through the growth and development plan without really centering it on a need analysis?
Okay. Now, try to imagine you are solving a problem that you don't know what it is. Just like the way you're going to see a doctor, okay? You can't go and tell a doctor, give me Panadol, just because I have headache. They need to determine what is the cause of the headache so that they can cure this. When you do the training, when you do a training without carrying out the training needs analysis, there's possibility you are solving the wrong problem.
Yeah.
Yes. Which could not be aligned to the business strategy. And then you don't experience the business growth and the productivity of the employees. And then you can also incur costs, which is not necessary. And you can also be training competencies that are not trainable. For example, we say salespeople, they need to be extrovert, or you are looking for people who are outgoing, but you cannot train an introvert to become an extrovert. Yeah. Why don't you just begin by recruiting people who are outgoing from the beginning?
Yes. So once you have identified the training needs, then there is need to come up with a training and development plan. There are 3 approaches that have been advanced as far as the human resource training and development is concerned, yes. And maybe you can help us break them down. We can start with the reactive approach.
The reactive approach is whereby you wait for something to happen, then you react. Okay? There's no clear plan of how you're going to do it. So employees are absent from work. They seem not to be motivated. It's now when the time you start thinking, what can I do? to reduce this. The problem with having a reactive approach of training and development is that it could be very costly, and most of all, it might not solve the problem at a go, which means time for the organization is lost, and also you are investing on competencies that might not be what you need to. Yes.
And are there advantages to using the reactive approach?
The advantages is you are working on something you can see. It is here. That's what I'm looking at. Okay. Now the disadvantages, as I've said, it's about the cost. You might invest on something that might not bear any results. Yeah.
What about the proactive approach?
Proactive approach, I would term it like the continuous part of the training and development of employees. It's ongoing all the time. You are doing customer service training for the employees, you are doing supervisory skills training for your supervisors, because you are looking at the future. Will I be having the skills, the knowledge, and the abilities that I need to continue growing my business? For example, if it's a startup organization, you are thinking of where you want to be in the next 5 years. You start building the skills right now, because when that time comes, you might end up having to go out looking for people to come and fill the positions. Whereas if you grow the skills, it's good to be for your advantage to the organization. Yeah.
What about the active learning approach?
The active learning approach is an approach that allows trainees or participants, or let's say employees, to be very active in the learning. And this one is more of practical learning for the employees. For example, you come up with a concept, and within the training, you give them time to have a discussion, let them criticize, let them give thoughts about it, what they think. And the only problem with such kind of an approach is, number one, it's very time consuming, because you can imagine after every 15 minutes, you are giving people time to go and have a discussion about a specific concept. It's quite time consuming, but it's very engaging for the participants.
Well, for putting that into perspective, we are now going to take a short break, and it's up to you as an organization to figure out what kind of approach have you taken, and is it the right one? Have you chosen the active learning approach? Have you chosen the proactive approach or the reactive approach? We are now going to take a short break, and you can be part of the ongoing conversation on our Facebook page, Brand Plus TV, or on our Twitter handle at Brand Plus TV. We will be right back.
I would advise organizations to incorporate both the internal training and the external training. We say an organization is as good as its people, and the training is part of building capacity.
Welcome back. In case you're just joining us, this is The Executive, and I am hosting Sarah Kithaka. So Sarah, most organizations seem to seek outwards for their training needs, but more and more organizations are realizing the importance of continuous growth and development, and hence setting up of their training departments in their own organizations. So what are the benefits and challenges of relying on the two exclusively? Maybe you can start with the internal training.
The internal training is, we are talking of having inbuilt capacity to carry out the training of your employees. The advantages of having internal training is that the learning happens in a familiar environment. As you all know, change is very difficult for almost everybody. Yeah. And if you learn within an environment that is familiar to you, are comfortable, you are relaxed, and you seem to be enjoying the training. And also, they can relate whatever they are learning with their work environment, because it's in-house. It's also cost-effective rather than outsourcing, because you have built a capacity with the skills and competencies and also abilities that you, the organization that you know you require. Now, when you come to the external training, the benefit of that is, as an organization, you can access a pool of experts. Remember, most of outsourced experts, they have worked with various organizations, meaning they have a rich experience of training, and they can bring in different ways and different competencies in a different manner. Yeah.
And what are the disadvantages of the two?
The disadvantages of internal training is that you have a fixed resource. So whether they are doing the training or not, that's a cost you have to incur.
Yeah.
Then the disadvantage of having outsourced, they are very expensive, sometimes not so expensive, but since it's because they charge per unit, that is per employee,
Yeah.
and then the organization has no control. You can never you have no control of having the same quality of delivering the training every time the same resource comes in. Yeah.
So how can you balance the two so as to ensure the organization benefits from its growth and development plan?
I would advise organizations to incorporate both the internal training and the external training. When you have internal training, where we are having in-house bit of training, and then you take people outside for training, you are blending the experts' experience with your own internal trainers, so that they bring a well-baked individuals. Yeah.
So one of the major risks that organizations are facing is the people risk, because people come and go, and this may dampen the organization's commitment to invest in its people's growth and development, because once they up and leave, then your investment is lost. So could you build a case as to why an organization should invest in its people's growth and development despite the risk?
We say an organization is as good as its people, and training is part of building capacity. The question we should be asking ourselves is, why do people leave? And some of the reasons that people exit organizations include things like lack of motivation, there's no career path, I'm just there, I don't know what is in for me, burnt bosses, which is one of the major reasons why people exit organization. So even as we do training and development of the employees, we have to look at other issues that can be contributing to the exit of employees. Yeah.
And so how can an organization ensure that they limit talent attrition before they can recoup the investments?
There are various ways the organizations can do that. Number one, which I usually think it's too radical, it's having to bond the employee with the organization for quite a number of years, let's say even 3 years, that you cannot leave the organization until the 3 years are over. If you do so, you're expected to refund the money that was used to invest in your training. But I would say that the other thing is, let the organizations come up with various ways of just motivating employees, engage them, and then have a very clear career path. That will make the employees stay longer with the organization, and by the time you know it, you've already reaped back your investment. Yeah.
And some of the people investment do not bring about immediate benefits. So what can the organization do to ensure that from this investment they can ultimately get their long-term benefits?
I would say adopt the proactive approach of developing your employees. That is, it is continuous. Because even when you train me something today, you don't expect me to start applying it immediately that I have left the training. It's something that it will take some time to be felt and for the organization to see the difference. Yeah.
And why should organizations view training and development as a strategic business move as opposed to a quick fix?
Definitely, we all know that quick fixes are expensive, and they might not actually give you the solution. We are saying that building capacity, and that is human capital, is very crucial for organizations to achieve their business strategy and most of the growth in their business. You can try to imagine, you are saying that every time you have to do something different, you must seek for an outsider to come and fill the position. It takes time for one to adjust and to fit in the system. So it's good for the organization to have a pool of skills knowledge and abilities that they can use along the way as they keep on growing their business.
Well, if there are two key areas that you can ask organizations to focus on as far as strategically developing their staff, what would you say?
Number one, they will focus on personal growth. That is developing the employee as a person. And here it's supporting the initiative that employees come up with. For example, an employee wants to proceed to do their master's, which is relevant to the job that they do. Mm-hmm. It's upon the organization to facilitate this agenda by, for example, allow the employee to go to class early enough by giving them maybe that minutes break before the usual break to leave the office so that they can be there in good time, support them financially, and then if they have exams, give them the exam days to go and do the exams. That is supporting the personal growth. And then we have the organization growth. Here we are looking at the performance of the organization. What does the organization need for it to grow the business and to achieve their strategic plans? We are talking of having competencies that are relevant and they are aligned to the business strategy.
Yeah. Well said. And on that note, we are now going to take a short break, which allows you to send in your comments and questions on the number on your screen or on our Facebook page, Brand Plus TV. We love to hear your feedback. We'll be right back.
A big office does not bring you business, but skilled, knowledgeable, and people with ability will bring you business. Training and development should be considered as one of the key things that will make an organization prosper.
Welcome back. We are now winding up on our discussion of today, and in case you just missed it or would like to have a recap of our discussion, you can find us on our YouTube channel, Brand Plus TV Kenya. This is the executive, and I am hosting Sarah Kithaka, founder, Peak Value Solutions Limited. So Sarah, at the end of the day for organizations, it is the bottom line and every coin counts. So are the cash-strapped organizations locked out from reaping the benefits of its growth and development plan?
I would say no, because there are other economic ways of training your employees. For example, there are some consultants who are available to do training on pro bono basis. Then they can consider taking their employees for the group training, whereby the training is cheaper since we have a mass of people going for training, hence the unit cost is lower. And also they can consider training other employees in the organization so that they can train others. Yeah.
So should a trade-off occur between developing your staff and say maybe move to a larger office space? What should an organization prioritize?
I would say that a big office does not bring you business, but skilled, knowledgeable, and people with ability will bring you business, which definitely will translate into a big office. Yeah.
So what clarion call do you have for organizations with regards to growing the human capital as a long-term investment?
My advice would be that training and development should be considered as one of the key things that will make an organization prosper, and also meeting their business strategy. Because we are talking of building capacity, having the right skills, right knowledge, and also having the abilities that will move your business to the next step.
So what services do you offer with regards to assisting organizations grow their human capital as a long-term investment into the organization's future?
Peak Value Solutions Limited offers HR consulting services as well as training solutions. In our training solutions, we have quite a range of programs. We have team leadership training. We also have supervisory management. We have customer excellence, we have personal effectiveness, and development. We're also talking of emotional intelligence and many others. Yeah.
And how can one access your services?
Peak Value Solutions Limited is located at Solar House. We are on the 5th floor. You can also go to our website, www.peakvaluesolutions.com, or you can drop us an email at training@peakvaluesolutions.com, or give us a call on 0720 338846.
So what should we expect from Peak Value Solutions Limited, and what do you hope the future holds for you as an entrepreneur?
At Peak Value Solutions, we are very passionate about development of employees, and we are seeing ourselves as being a premier company that offers the training and development solutions to the various organizations, and we are looking at being the key players in the next few years. And I would say that the market is wide. We have very many untapped potential, and watch this space.
And I wish you all the best in your venture.
Thank you.
Hire for attitude, train for skills. David D'Souza. That has been The Executive. I have been your host, Ngendo Mwangi. Until next time, remember, the achievements of an organization are the results of a combined effort of each individual. Keep watching Brand Plus TV.
Sarah at 20, focus on developing yourself on skills that will lead you towards self-employment. Believe in yourself that you can prosper in this world that is male-dominated, where you have to work harder than what men have to do to achieve the same goals. I have worked in the corporate world for over 11 years. I still believe I would have done half the time.